All right. Hi, everybody. I know some of you are having issues with the pedigree piece on the human inheritance lab. So I thought I would kind of make a quick video just for that part. Can you hold it there? Let me make sure they can see it. Okay. Let me just make sure that my daughter's holding the Chromebook up. All right. So you have to first write down the givens. So normal skin, they told you in the reading, is dominant. So that's uppercase D with a little line, because when it's the dominant, it could be either uppercase D, or uppercase D, little d. Just make sure they can see it right there. Albinism is the recessive. If you're the recessive, you know the genotype, it's little d, little d. And on the sheet prior in the lab, it told you the shaded ones are the recessive. So I'm going to write the genotypes of those right on it. We already know those, little d, little d. The rest, we got to figure out if we can know what the second letter is in the genotype. So see how they're all shaded white, or white, not shaded, I guess I should say. So write down all the givens. Okay, so now you just kind of work yourself backwards, like process of elimination. So these two parents had this offspring. If the offspring is little d, what did each parent give them? One little d. So follow this up. Yep, one of those gave the little d. Follow this up. So now you know the line, little d, because the offspring got a little d from each parent. Okay, so then you say to yourself, are there any other ones I could figure out that were dominant? Okay, so here's two parents. Follow it down. Here's the three offspring. This offspring is little d. Follow it up. Each parent gave a little d. So do we know those little lines because of this? Yes. Little d, little d. Now look at the other two offspring here. Big D dash, big D dash. We don't know that one. So if you follow this up, this parent could give the big D. And this parent, 50% of the time, give the big D, 50% give the little d. So you don't know those. You leave them as is. Okay, come over here. These parents have all big D dashes. You don't know if they were the hybrid or pure dominant. So there's nothing else you could figure out there. The same with this one. All right, the next pedigree, if this one was hard, let me go over this one as well. Okay, in the given, capital A represents the dominant to be able to taste. Little a is a non-taster. Remember, if you're recessive, we know your genotype, it's two littles. If you're dominant, you could either be big A, or big A, little a. First thing you want to do on the pedigree is go through and write down the givens. If you're shaded, you're recessive. Okay, so that we know all of those genotypes for sure. The rest of them are big A dash or big A dash. This is called generation one, the first line across, generation one. There's a question on the back page about this. This is generation two, the second line. So I wrote down all the givens. Now I'm going to try to figure out if there's any other second genes I can determine. Let's start here. I kind of like to work my way up. These two parents had this offspring, little a. Follow it up. Each parent gave a little a. So yeah, we know what's on that line. This parent always gives a what? Little a. So follow it down. It put a little a on each line. So we do know that line. This offspring got a little a from each parent. Follow it up. Yes, that one gave one, and this one. Okay, this parent, or this offspring's little a. Follow it up. What did each parent give? A little a. So we know that line. This parent always gives a little a. So do we know if these offspring, the second gene? Yes, that had to be a little a because this parent has to give it. Come over here. This parent always gives a little a, so we know it. Okay, what about this parent? Big A dash, they're showing the dominant. All the offspring, the little a came from this. This parent is giving the big A. We do not know, though, if it's big A, or big A dash. You have to leave that one as is. Okay, so that's how the second figure 3 would look. Now, the other thing that comes up on those questions on the back, which are, they say, where is it? They'll say, in the pedigree, in figure 2, if individuals 6 and 7 were to have another child, how do you know individuals 6 and 7? I'm just going to show you on here. You just number it. And I numbered it on yours. So right here, you just count. Generation 2, you count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here, generation 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 8, 9, or 6, 7. All right, let us know if you need any more help than that.